Hey everybody, I am not Rick Beato, I am Tim the Tonepriest Taylor. It's a beautiful sunny day here this Saturday afternoon. Feeling a little bit under the weather, so not really motivated into digging out some amps or something and doing some real work, but I did not want the day to go to waste, so what I thought I'd do is have a little fun, do a talking no-head video. Learn how to use some of the software that I bought, try and get my production values up to novice level at least. And I remembered this Rick Beato video I watched when he came out. I'm of about two minds about these things, you know, talking about like who's better, who's worse, Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen. Those arguments are ridiculous. But, you know, we musicians, we're kind of ridiculous, so this is what we talk about. So whatever. So we'll do the best we can. Try and get this stuff all to work. If you're watching this, apparently I did figure it out, so that's cool. Learned something new. Day didn't go to waste. Just trying to amuse myself. So, whatever. So here we go. Better or worse? Clapton or Hendrix is the video here. So let's take a listen and a watch.
Hey everybody, I'm Rick Beato.
Dave Honorado, and I missed the black t-shirt memo. Yes, you did.
It looks kind of weird, I know, but
You're getting
Alright, blah blah blah. We all know who you are. We got Rick, we got Brett, and we got the other guy who we don't really know who he is, but he's a really good guitar player and probably should be on Rick's videos more often. Anyway, moving on.
This is our first Three
fun.
Amigos session.
Looks like somebody's been down here with the ugly stick.
Of 2021. We've actually been talking about the topic we're going to talk about, but it's kind of a thought experiment, the kind of thing I like to sit around and talk with my friends
Oh god, musicians doing a thought experiment. Is that a contradiction in terms?
about. Let's say, who's more famous, Jimi Hendrix or Eric Clapton?
Hendrix, obviously. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hendrix. Hendrix.
Dave hesitated on that. I would probably say Hendrix too.
Yeah.
But why did you hesitate, Dave?
Well, kind of the career span of, like, you know, Hendrix was only around for, you know, a short period of time, and then, you know, obviously Eric's been decades. So, but I'd say Hendrix just because of, you know, his iconic status of even people who don't know about his music
Oh please, it's fucking Hendrix. Get over it. Next question.
probably recognize maybe who he is. So,
Yeah, and even with Clapton's much longer catalog, even if you cut Clapton off at 70,
yeah.
1970, Hendrix still.
Look at how serious Brett's taking this question. This is like serious shit. And it kind of is to musicians. We take this shit seriously. I hope everyone knows I'm just taking a piss here. I'm having a little fun. I respect all these guys tremendously. But for the purposes of this video, I don't. So, moving on.
Oh, yeah.
Had a wider breadth of impact than Clapton did.
I think so.
Between Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, who's the more famous?
I mean, it's Zeppelin, right? Pink Floyd? Who's Pink? Which one's Pink? Come on. Figure it out. It's all dark.
Yes, sir.
Zeppelin.
Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Pink Floyd's huge, and they're massively influential, but what rock groups exist that are bigger than Zeppelin? I mean, there's less than 2 or 3.
I mean, the only thing I could say to that is, I mean, Pink Floyd did have one of the biggest selling records of all time, so.
True.
But I'd have to say Zeppelin as a whole.
Just as a more cumulative impact.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Dark Side of the Moon was massive.
I mean, that was,
Everyone knows Dark Side of the Moon.
Right, so, but,
I mean, it's really easy to figure out the answer to these questions. Ask somebody that is not a fan of this type of music if they've heard of Pink Floyd or if they've heard of Led Zeppelin, and there's your answer.
everybody knows Stairway to Heaven. And so it's kind of, or multiple Zeppelin songs, but yeah, I'd have to go with Zeppelin just as a whole.
Who is a better singer, Mick Jagger or David Bowie?
Boy, I look like you.
Bowie.
All right, now this actually is a decent question. Better singer? Now let's see what they say.
Boy, man, that's tough. Man, I'll go with Jagger.
Well, how are you quantifying better, though?
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Let's get into this thing.
Again, Brett is taking this way too seriously.
Because this is interesting. I think, from a technical perspective, Bowie's the better singer.
Definitely, no question about it.
Yeah, no question.
From a tone perspective, from a immediately recognizable perspective, I would put them both neck and neck. You don't mistake Bowie's voice. You certainly don't mistake Jagger's voice when you hear it.
Right. I mean, Bowie was huge, and I love Bowie, but I'd have to say Jagger though, because.
Can we get Adam Levine's opinion on this? I mean, Jagger's got the moves, right? I think you just take them both, right? You get dancing in the streets. Actually, I think they cancel each other out and they become horrible singers. Anyway.
I don't know about better though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it's.
I don't know if the band's influence has an impact on the question of who's the better singer.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Rolling Stones songs is "Happy," which actually Keith Richards sings lead on. Until the chorus. Okay, no, I'm a massive Rolling Stones fan, and Jagger's one of my favorite singers ever.
Okay, my bullshit alarm's going way up right now. Let's see what Rick's got to say.
But you don't realize how good of a singer Mick Jagger is until he comes in the chorus on that song. Then you're like, God, this is a killer song, amazing. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. That's actually Keith Richards singing on the verse, and Jagger comes in, and you realize, oh my God, Jagger's a phenomenal singer. You just kind of take it for granted.
Yeah,
He's so
no,
good.
I agree, yeah.
And Keith Richards is a pretty good singer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Bullshit alarm detected. Worked. Functioning.
That's he nailed it on that one.
I do whatever I want.
Oh, yeah, you fucking nailed it. Sign him up. Put that guitar down.
I mean, really, okay, if you were...
But
Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom.
David Bowie.
Well,
So you've got a lot of explaining to do.
Yes.
I mean, maybe, range-wise, technique, obviously, yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
chops-wise,
chops,
David Bowie, there's no
right.
comparison between the
Even
two.
arrangements and just the way he layered his
So,
stuff. And
But it was one of putting together lots of bits and pieces and loose ends and directing the whole thing and remembering 1,000 things at once.
But coolness...
If you think Mick Jagger will still be out there trying to be a rock star at age 50, you're sadly mistaken.
I still got to say Bowie. I mean, look, it's coolness is a completely different. That's a different question altogether.
Yeah.
I would put the two right in line with one of each other. But how do you even quantify?
Are you kidding me? Who's cooler than Jagger? Come on, Brett. I thought you were thinking about this shit.
Coolness.
I mean, to me, this one's basically throw a dart. And
This is
either one
that's
of
a
them.
tie.
It really, I think
Yeah.
it is.
This is a tie,
I mean,
right?
Yeah, the coolness thing is a tie, but Bowie's a better singer. Who's more famous, Sting or Eddie Van Halen?
Okay, this is another ridiculous question. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
The Police were pretty much, I'd say, worldwide by synchronicity, probably were a bigger band than Van Halen.
Worldwide, yeah.
Worldwide.
I would say it's
Worldwide,
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
At that point.
Plus Sting's solo career.
Yes.
Oh, well, that changes everything, I guess. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
On top of
Sure.
the Police.
Sure.
That's a real hard thing
That's what she said.
because there's a very little overlap between stylistically between
And
them.
think about like commercial success. Think about radio play.
How about we're thinking about this a little too hard?
I mean, think about
Yeah.
all the aspects of more famous.
I mean, you know, but I mean,
But Van Halen was famous worldwide too.
yeah, and you could still go and say, hey, man, you know, even with Sammy, they had huge songs and huge hits up until the mid '90s. You know, so I'd have to go. I'll go with Police though, because
Well, he said Sting.
Or
though.
Sting. well, yeah.
Sting. Not the Police.
Well,
Sting. And not Van Halen the band, but Eddie. Sting versus Eddie.
Keep playing, man.
oh man, well,
Jeez, that's
well. See, as a guitar,
I don't know. They're equal.
as a guitar player, though,
No, be objective though.
Let's not get objectivity involved in this. Be subjective. Come on, guys. Have some fun.
You have to be objective, right? Because we're all guitar
Yeah, I
players.
know.
And I made a video. The Police songs were so weird that they would still be hits.
Okay, I think that has absolutely nothing to do with the question, but these guys have been waffling so long I forgot what the question was. But we know what the answer is.
Eddie Van Halen here.
Yeah. God, I love the Police. So it's Sting for me. I think it's Sting.
I say tie.
I'll go with Ty, I guess.
Oh, good. I'm glad we're just making up the rules as we go along here. Anyway.
That's
Are we doing ties though? For real?
I can do ties. Yeah, ties work.
All right.
okay. All right.
Thanks, Brett, for bringing that
Maybe
up.
you get one tie.
Okay.
Oh, let's fucking get a flowchart out and just get more rules than Axis and Allies.
Now, what was World War II? What was going on there?
All right. That will be yeah.
That's
Okay,
your
so
one tie.
Dave, now your turn.
All right. Well, I'm going to come out of left field completely way out
Like
there.
that wasn't.
Well, no, this is completely different.
Okay.
Who built the cooler guitar, the homemade guitar, Brian May or Van Halen?
Oh my God.
Brian May.
Well, Van Halen's was the most copied, so I'd say Van Halen. Even though Brian May's was incredibly cool.
Oh, dude, yeah, the Red Special. I gotta go Red Special.
For me, believe it or not, yeah, it's Red Special for a couple of reasons. Van Halen bought the neck and body and threw it together, out of parts. He didn't make it. Brian and his dad
made
took a
that.
fireplace, cut it up, and made the whole guitar. And they had no experience of making a guitar ever. And
Plus
so,
the sounds that guitar could
right,
get.
and he
Okay, agree totally. As someone who builds shit and fixes shit, trust me, when you're building something from scratch and you don't know what the fuck you're doing, it's hard. It's the definition of hard.
But then all of the switching they came up with themselves. So he built the tremolo. I mean, the entire guitar was hand built. It wasn't like they went and got parts. It's all hand done. I love Ed, man, but he went to Lynn Ellsworth and Charvel and said, "Hey, they want that body. Oh, yeah, throw it together." But to me,
sure,
the coolest
Eddie's
guitar.
is more well known, but
Yeah.
the coolest guitar is
I gotta say,
Dr.
yeah,
Brian Mix.
I gotta go with Brian on that one.
Yeah.
But that's
Dr.
yeah.
I'm going to go with Eddie on that.
Okay.
What was a more important record? Sgt. Pepper's
Sergeant Pepper's. Next question.
or Dark Side of the Moon?
Yeah, you're trying to hurt me by throwing Pink Floyd in there, but
Dark
give me a
Side.
break.
I think from a commercial perspective, it's one of the top grossing albums of all time. Everyone knows. Arguably everyone knows the cover of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, but the Prism
Oh, the fucking Prism, of course. Why didn't I think of that?
is, ubiquitous in pop culture. It's everywhere. It had Oh god, now I'm changing my.
Oh, the brain cells just started firing up. It's the fucking Beatles. Give me a break.
So all of us on our show like the Beatles so much. They're really four very well-mannered youngsters.
You said influential?
So, ladies and gentlemen, once
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough, man. That one's really tough.
Okay, who are the
But-
who are the groups that influenced Pink Floyd though? If you're going to say compared
Well,
to the
and
Beatles,
what I was just going to say, I'll go with Sgt. Pepper because just across the board, man. I mean, after that record came out, everything changed. Everything.
Yeah, but so
From-
did.
Yeah, so did what? Pink Floyd was great and all. Oop, someone's at the door.
Ding dong! Who's that at the door?
And I'm it. And I'm it. Well, and I'm it. Well, and I'm it. Well, and believe here again, I'll say it. I'm Pink Floyd fanatic, so I can't. I mean, David Gilmour's probably my favorite player if I had to pick one. So it's tough. But
Yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
the only
say
thing that
Sgt.
makes this
Pepper
question
just
tough.
Because between the Beach Boys and just the thousands of people that said, as soon as I heard that record, everything changed.
Didn't Pet Sounds come out before Sgt. Pepper's?
It
did. But
so you could say that the Beach Boys were pretty heavily influencing the Beatles at that time, like what they were doing.
yeah,
sure.
and they would say that.
And
yeah. But man.
and so I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think.
What does it matter? The answer is the Beatles. The answer is always the Beatles. Next question.
the Beatles.
Though, because if you're going to say more influential, you point out Sgt. Pepper's. I think you have to look at Pet Sounds.
No, you don't. You don't need to have to do that.
And I think those two together, because Pet Sounds influenced Sgt. Pepper's. And so, what influenced Dark Side of the Moon? What was Dark Side's Pet Sounds?
Who gives a fuck? Are we going to break out the chalkboard and draw this all out like a schematic?
What you have stolen from me. Return the map. It will bring you great danger.
That's actually a pretty good question.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rick. I don't know if there's an answer to that either.
How would you salute me if I were a Beatle?
Well, yeah, it is. I mean,
I don't know if there's an answer to that.
Actually, I do. It's the Beatles.
I don't know if there's an answer to that.
Beatles.
David Gilmour, if you're watching this,
First of all, please, my email's in the description.
Yeah,
please email me and
please.
All that they get used to, all the girls really falling at their feet, and just
tell me what the answer to that is.
I'm going to make you a little Beatle. How does my little Beatle look? Okay.
Yeah, I'll do you one better. I'll make a silly video and put it on my YouTube channel. Next question, please.
Or Roger Waters. I don't mean Roger or David. Any of them.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I think as a standalone piece of work.
Oh, man. Brett's brain's about to leak out his ears and nose and eyes. This is getting good.
Oh, man. This is another bold statement. Is Dark Side of the Moon a more original work than Sgt. Pepper's, knowing that Pet Sounds pretty heavily influenced Sgt. Pepper's?
No.
How about new?
And I actually listened to both records recently, back to back, and they're the Pet Sounds is a phenomenal record.
God, yeah, it's a masterpiece.
You guys know Zeppelin songs, right?
As a fan, I love them, and I don't mean I love them.
Fuck you.
A few, sure.
Okay, what is the better song? Is it What Is and What Should Never Be or 10 Years Gone?
Wow.
Ooh, this actually is a good question.
Oh my God.
If you had to pick between those two songs.
What is and what should never be.
And I chose those because they...
Even though Physical Graffiti is probably my favorite Zeppelin album, but moving on.
They're both unbelievably great.
Tie, man.
I think, I'm going to have to use my tie on this one. It's a cop-out.
Yeah, that's totally a cop-out. Quit being a fucking pussy.
But
I'll go with What Should Never Be.
I'll go with 10 Years Gone, I think.
Yeah.
But it's pretty close to being a tie, but those are two of the finest Zeppelin songs.
Light-bodied red wine with a large Clearwater band, star bright in color, medium intensity. Definitely I could read a newspaper through it, so pretty light in color with medium plus viscosity.
Oh, there's so many, but yeah, I agree that those songs are, man, they're way up there. Yeah.
What sound is more unique, Money for Nothing or Satisfaction?
Money for Nothing. Satisfaction, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, fucking sounds like shit. Give me a break.
All right. Have you ever tried to learn Money for Nothing?
So, when you're first starting out in guitar, it can be extremely overwhelming.
Yes, I have.
Yes.
I
butchered it.
Yes. Video.
I can't play it. It like
I don't think anybody can.
I don't
really.
think anyone can play it right. Those
I never heard
things.
Knopfler play it the same way.
Well, that makes me feel better because I
Yeah.
tried.
No, I was going to say that I've seen him live a bunch of times. He never played it the same.
That was one of those riffs for me
Yeah.
that I literally was sitting there like, okay, this finger, then this finger, then this.
Yeah.
Like,
I gave my love a story that had no end. I give.
trying to do the math on it, it's impossible.
Yeah. But I think that was just one of those, like, they rolled tape and he did it and it was like, okay, you know.
I can't wait for the comments. I can play it just fine.
Yeah, right.
But Satisfaction is arguably one of the most influential guitarists of all time. Because that was one of the first times that distortion was intentionally used. The Maestro FZ1. It was a massive hit. It sort of ushered in rock and roll and the guitar as sort of the forefront of that whole movement. And it wasn't even what he was intending to do. He was intending to simulate a horn line, which is what the FZ1 was marketed as. It was marketed as a effect to make your guitar sound like a horn, like a saxophone or a trumpet.
It sounds nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know what the fascination is with all those old fuzz pedals. They sound like shit to me. I can't stand them. But that's just me. Whatever. I'm nuts. I'm not even a guitar player. I shouldn't even have an opinion on this. Anyway.
It's cool though because it's the pedal. You know, he wrote the riff from the pedal, and vice versa. It's like, you know, it's that iconic. So I mean, and how could you hear that song ever without that? You know what I mean?
I mean, you can hear it in your head right now.
Right.
Like,
right.
Okay, who's a more underrated singer, David Gilmour or Pete Townsend?
David Gilmour. I'm gonna go with Gilmour on this. Pete Townsend's great and all, but underrated. Well, they're both underrated. I don't know. I'm pulling a Brett on this one. They're both underrated. I'm taking my pass.
Oh, Pete Townsend.
David Gilmour. Dude, Gilmour's an amazing singer.
He is.
He is a great singer.
He is. He's great.
And
But
people
who's
don't
more underrated, though?
But people don't think of Gilmour as a vocalist.
That David Gilmour is incredible. He's a very underrated singer.
He is.
A phenomenal singer.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But Pete Townsend is a ridiculously good singer as well.
Yeah, Eminence Front versus Comfortably Numb. Yeah. I think we just figured out the answer. We got to the bottom of that one.
Underrated.
Yeah. I mean, because the main thing was like in the Who. I mean, between him and Daltrey, man. I mean, he could hang with Daltrey.
What did you just say? Are you shitting me? Won't Get Fooled Again versus Eminence Front. Watch them back to back. Tell me if your answer hasn't changed.
He could.
And, you know, and I mean, honestly, I like Gilmore's voice better than Waters, so...
Oh my god, Jesus. The fuck is... What are they smoking down in Atlanta? My god, man.
But...
Me too.
You know, but... I'll go with Townsend just because I love Townsend, and I mean, I love them both. This is another tie, but I'll go with Townsend. I'll be the odd man out.
I think it's Gilmore though,
because people talk.
I'll go with
guitar
Gilmore.
playing. Whereas,
you know what?
Whereas people don't necessarily talk about Pete Townsend's.
Yeah,
they talk about his songwriting and.
So I think it's got to be Gilmore.
All right, I'll go Gilmore.
This is actually one of the most interesting videos that I think that we've done.
We are gonna, in principle, make the most boring video because we're gonna talk about watching paint dry.
At least to me, because these type of thought experiments, this is the stuff I do when I always have hung out with my friends.
The droplets drying.
We always
right.
Yeah, it's true. Musicians are like the biggest nerds ever. I mean, we try to act all cool and hang out and get chicks and do drugs, but we're all nerds at heart.
We always just sit around and talk about these kind of dumb things like this.
Who'd win in a wrestling match, Lemmy or God?
Lemmy.
God. Wrong, dickhead. Trick question. Lemmy is God.
Rating bands against each other and solos against each other and things. And so,
you know, we've got a series on our hands now because the comments are going to be full of like people.
Well, see, because I got one more. I was just going to say, like, who is the more influential guitar designer, Leo Fender or
Jesus,
Ted
Dave.
McCarty?
I think it's Leo. I mean, it has to be Leo.
Do you think?
With the Telecaster, it has to be Leo. I mean,
I don't know, man. McCarty with 335.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love a Les Paul.
Make a video on why Gibson headstocks break.
That's a tough one.
Dude, the Stratocaster. Yeah. When people who don't know what an electric guitar is, when you ask them to think of a shape of an electric guitar,
They think of the Les Paul.
No, they think of a Stratocaster.
Flying V.
Yeah.
I do. Sorry. And I love Fenders, but come on. I think of a Les Paul.
If you just Google broken guitar headstock.
No, it's a Strat.
See, well, it's weird for me. It would be the Strat, but yeah, I own more Les Pauls, but yeah.
Leave your comments in the comments section.
Here we go. That's the end. Yeah, leave your comments in the comments section so they can be ignored. All right, folks. Let me see if I can edit this all together. If I can, that means I've learned some new skills, and then we'll have some higher production in the videos coming in the future. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be feeling a little bit better. Got a couple of things that I want to do in the near future. I want to get the Electric Mistress pedal a proper demo. I want to get the Sound Electronics Corp Model X305 up and running. So those are my most immediate goals. I hope you enjoyed the video, and rock on.
Done.